Good morning, sweet friends. Welcome back to my home and welcome back to my keto journey. Now, I sometimes call it ketogenic and other times I call it ketovore. Okay, I didn't know a lot of you were going to follow the whole process, but I'm glad that you are, and I have some information that I want to share with you today on just some of the tools that I use. But before we even get started, I have a little note here to make sure that I'm covering a lot of the things that I want to tell you today. First of all, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just sharing what I have learned through keto. I don't like to use the word diet, although sometimes I call it a keto diet, but I have dieted all of my life. I've had the sleeve in 2014. I lost about 50 pounds, and then I found out I had thyroid, hyperthyroid, where it's very slow, slows down my metabolism. But what I've learned about keto is that it's all about the carbs, and I only do 20 or less carbs a day. And after you get started and you start learning things, it's not hard to do. If I went over sometimes a little, that's okay. I also use the Carb Manager. It's an app. There's several apps that you can use. There's called Lose It, Fitness Pal, and then I use the Carb Manager. And the reason that I use the Carb Manager, I'm going to leave this screen and show you. Okay, I think I got it set up here, guys, and this is my Carb Manager. It will come in an app. You'll see it right down here. And once you download that and put in your information, they will ask for an email address, which is great. They will always try to sell you their premium, but you do not need the premium to use a good portion of their app. This will then address me every day. It says, "Good afternoon, Rebecca." This is now afternoon. Started in the morning. Start your streak today for net carbs. And I have had a 47-day streak, but this is what the chart is going to look like. This was my day for yesterday, and these are my macros. This tells me how much protein I had, how much fat, and how many calories. You can go in and set that to anything you want it to be. Now my carbs are set at 20, and it looks like that I had 8 carbs for the day, and it will count your net carbs. It will deduct any fiber. So my carbs were 8 for the day, but my total carbs was 21, and so I had 12 carbs left just yesterday. This is my circle here of my goals, and my calories is set at about 1,200 a day. And although some days I go over and some days I'm under, it all averages out. They will send you an email about what your average is each week, and I love that because it lets me know, whether I'm getting too far out of whack with some of my sauces that I use or, spices, but I keep track of everything. And then this tells you about your weekly, here's the chart, here's my 20 right up here. But I only use 2 things. I use the daily log and I use the goals. And the goal is for weight. Now you can purchase the premium if you want and get some recipes, but you can also go over to Pinterest and find a lot of your recipes. If you can't find it on here already plugged in, you can add it. You just add all of the information per serving, and then you'll be able to use it. I'll show you that in just a moment. So this shows my beginning weight, and I have it only 3 months out. You can do 1 week, 1 month. You can even do it for the year, but right now I'm still under the 3-month range. So you can see my chart has slowly been dropping. I had I had 1 week that it went up, not sure why, but it continued to go down. So you just go down here and this will show you your history of what I put in each week, the weight that I put in, and it says that I have lost 13.4. Now I've lost more because I have recently weighed. So if you need to add a new weight, it'll open this up. It'll give you the date. And if, let's say my new weight this morning was 202.8, I submit that, and then it tells me that I have lost a total of 13.6. I'm still in the green here. You can see when I had that week that I went up, it was in the red. And it could have just been, water weight gain or my body holding on and, going through a change. Now, that's not really my weigh-in date, so I want to take that off. So I'll just remove that. And I'll continue with where I'm at on my chart. Go back to my daily log. And down here, it's already shows you that I have put in my coffee. And I actually had 1.5 cups of my coffee. And I can go back and change that later because it'll tell you that once you have this in here and you hit that little heart, it will keep that in there for you and you can just go find it at any time. So let's say I did have another 1/2 cup and I want to add 4 more ounces to that. And I had 3 tablespoons in my 1 cup. I had another 1/2 cup. Let's add a couple more tablespoons to that. And then also on this, I will move that up to 6. And I didn't just have, normally I have a 1/2 protein shake. Today I had a full one. So I'm going to take that 1/2 off and put 1 shake. And then it changes all of the information. And it shows that I have net carbs of 5 grams for my breakfast. Oh, this is yesterday. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Let's go up to today. Today, I don't have anything put in there. So, I want to scroll down, and I want to add my breakfast. And my coffee, I had the 12 ounces. We won't worry too much about yesterday. And then I had my heavy whipping cream and my syrup in my coffee, and I had 1 protein shake. And that is what I had for my breakfast, and it shows that I have had 5 net carbs so far for the day. Now for lunch, I always add my tea. I have 1 bottle of tea, although I may sip on it all day. And I actually had 2 eggs, and I have that in there. And so I can always just go add that, and it adds your protein, it adds everything. Normally I have some sausage, but I didn't have that today. And I did not have any butter on my eggs, so I didn't add that. And then I close it out. I am done. So if I come back up here, it shows today that I've had 6 carbs, and this is where my goals are. I've had almost half of my calories, and I won't eat again until supper. I call it supper, some may call it dinner. It says dinner on here. So I probably will have about a 5 or 6 ounce hamburger with some barbecue sauce cooked in it, and that would be the sugar-free kind, and I will add that for dinner. Anything else that I might add, if I do have a snack, I'm going to add it here. If I have gum, I'm going to add it there. And my goal is always to stay under 20. And see, it says up here, 48-day streak, staying below your net carbs. And that's when I've started, and I've had a successful 48 days so far. And I don't have a desire to break it. I do not want to kick my body out of ketosis at any time. And I find this very helpful. And once you put those foods in there, then you can, go and find those at any time. You can put your own recipes in here, like I said. And, if you want to get the premium and track your sleep or anything like that, you can add that in there. I don't have a problem. I do know that I am sleeping better, but I did want to show you how I use this Carb Manager on my iPad. You can use it on your iPhone. I think you can download this to any of your devices, and I use this daily. Real quick, I almost forgot to tell you, if you scroll on down on your daily log, open up your daily log, scroll down, and this is optional. If you want to put in a daily workout, you can actually put in your steps. You can connect your Fitbit to this, but keep in mind that if you are keeping track of your calories, which you should, that this, whatever you put in the daily workout, will deduct those calories from your goal. Meaning that if you have a goal of 1,200 and you took a walk and you burned 400, it will tell you that you only had 800 calories, which is by far true. But one of the biggest goals you want to think about is calories in and calories out. Not just continually adding them by eating more food. Well, I'm allowed 12, I'm allowed 400 more calories because I burn those off. No, that's what you want to do. You want calories in and calories out. So I just wanted to tell you about that. You can add in your exercise, and there's a whole list of them already on there. This is optional if you want to keep track of that, but I don't like it that it was taking the calories off of my daily, because I would want to burn those 1,200 calories, not add more to my body. So I just wanted to cover over that part of Carb Manager with you as well, and that's free to use also. And after a while, I don't really have to use it. My husband doesn't, because he knows he's staying under the net carb with whatever he's having. And after a while, you'll be able to know how many carbs is in what you're eating, and you really don't need this after a while. But I still find it useful to use, and especially for the goal weight. You can do premium for foods, and you can even connect with others if you wanted to, share recipes, your goals. And this was something that I had started 6 years ago, as you can see. But these are the two main things that I use, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope this was helpful, and let's move along with some of the other tools that I use for my keto journey. What I use on there, I just use, you don't have to track your macros, but I like to be aware of how many calories I'm taking in, because it's not really the amount of calories per day as it is my average for the week. And once you sign up on Carb Manager, you will give them your email and they will send you, they try to sell you the premium, but you don't have to buy the premium to use the app. I use the app for two things, and that is the goals and the carbs, keeping track of the food that I eat and the calories, how much fat and how much protein. Those are my macros that I keep track of. Now, to me, they're very important to pay attention. Now, when you're first getting started, don't go so much on that. Just go with the carbs. And make sure that you're eating whole foods and not too much processed food. What I mean by processed food is like lunch meat. You might eat a piece of lunch meat that has 2 carbs in it, but it is processed. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with adding seasoning. I found a whole list of sugar-free sauces. Now, if you're doing ketovore, you're just doing meat, beef, eggs, bacon, and butter. I have a hard time just doing those. Sometimes that's maybe all that I have on my plate. But one of the things that we found that we've done ketos in the past is that we want that variety on our plate. We want something with flavor. So what we have done is changed it up a little bit. So that's what's different about this round of keto versus what we've done in the past. Now, I love my coffee, and I have 2 cups of the morning, and I have 1 to 2 cups in the afternoon. I could give up food for having my coffee. Although when I get done with my coffee, I usually have a little bit of an appetite. But I will say this, after you start doing less carbs of the day, that sugar craving goes away, that snacking time, you're not, the only way you would really want a snack of the evening is if you didn't get enough to eat for your supper meal. I call it supper. Some may call it dinner. But I just have my regular coffee, and that is the Dunkin' Donut kind of coffee that I fix in my coffee pot back here. And I use the Land O'Lakes heavy whipping cream. Now, it comes in a cheaper variety. Just find the flavor that you like in the heavy whipping cream. It's got less than 1 carb per 1 tablespoon. And I usually, I know, don't judge me, but I will use 3 tablespoons in my coffee. And my coffee mug is about this big. This might be something like 7 or 8 more ounces. So that's my coffee cup. And then, of course, I just ordered this off of a Terrainy website. I order a 12-pack. It's cheaper. I think I get each one of these big bottles for like $10. They're hard to find in the store, so I just order them on a subscription every 6 months. A lot of times I'll call in a little early, but I'll get online and put my order in. I put my card in, and I just have them ship it. When I get down to my last bottle in my pantry, I place an order. And this is the white chocolate mocha. And of course, this does have a sweetener in it. I have been doing this, and I just love it. And they have so many. They have the pumpkin for fall. They have the peppermint for the holidays. This is by far my favorite white chocolate syrup. It's sugar-free. And I have been using that for years, even when I don't do ketos. Another thing that I use is Pinterest. I have a Pinterest. I created a list for keto recipes. Some of them I have tried, and some of them we've tried and we don't like. But those that we do, I write it down and put it in my recipe box. And that is something, we have a few that we love even if we're not doing keto. But this keto, if you're hearing something, I have my washer and dryer going right over on that side of the wall. But this time we're trying to do it a little different. I cleared out my pantry. I got rid of everything that I'm not going to be tempted, because, oh, we don't have this to make this recipe, but I have all kinds of pasta, and that's not going to happen. We don't have that. Now, one of the things that I have been doing is mixing some of my meats or vegetable. Larry doesn't like vegetables. He could be carnivore easy. Me, I do like my vegetables, so I have incorporated my cauliflower and broccoli and sometimes my asparagus in with my meals 2 to 3 times a week because I do love the vegetables. And sometimes I cut up a small tomato that I've grown in my garden, and I just love that too. But as long as you stay under that 20 carbs, if you have done just meat and eggs for breakfast, which is sometimes what we do, but I am coming up on my second month of ketos, and you just lose your appetite, folks. You will eat for strength is what you'll do. I have no appetite for the morning, and usually I wait until supper time to eat. And what I have found is that I'm really hungry at that time. So even if I'm having something over and over again, like we will fix maybe 6 patties of burgers, and I eat one and Larry eats two, and we'll fix 6 and we'll have one day and one the next day. And we're perfectly fine with that. We can add a little sauce or heat it up and, put a tablespoon of butter on it, and it's still just as yummy because I'm hungry at that point. And I have to ask you this. This is something that I've been paying attention to my body. When is the last time that you heard your stomach growl? Well, when we're eating comfort food, we're just eating for comfort. It's like, this will taste good. Let me go get this, or open a bag of chips. And I haven't drank soda since I've had my surgery 2014. But speaking of drinks, find a low carb drink, and whatever you find, and whatever your taste is. I love this. It's 0 sugar, and I'm all about taking all the sugar out. By taking that out, guys, I have to say, instead of 4 to 5 hours of sleep now, I'm sleeping 6 to 7 hours. I'm sleeping better. My thought process is a lot more sharper. I'm not having that brain fog of walking in a room and forgetting what I'm going in there for. But I have drank this since I've had that sleeve surgery, and I just love it. And I don't particularly like that it comes in a plastic bottle. I bought these glass tea containers. They're Snapple. I kept 6 or 8 of them, and I used them in the dishwasher, and I kept the lids, and I cleaned them. And I love drinking my tea out of these, out of the glass bottles, and then I clean them. Although I'm pouring it out of this, but not much I can do about that. Snapple, sugar-free, and I like the peach tea. And because it used to be called Diet, but they changed it to 0 sugar. And this is just a favorite of mine. Nobody else that I know likes it, but I love it, and that is my go-to drink. And I usually have one of these a day. And then, of course, if you can drink water, as much water as you can get. I'm not a big water person. Usually if I'm out working in the yard, I want a water to quench my thirst. But this is our favorite water that we found, Cumberland Gap Mountain Spring Water. And this is our favorite, and we pick it up when we go into Paris because they're the only ones we know that sell it. I think there's a place down in Somerset that maybe sells it, but we'll pick up 4 or 5 cases of those, and we keep them in the refrigerator at all times. I'm not big on drinking the tap water, although this tap water here isn't as bad as the county that we came from. But let's see, what else? Weighing. Try not to weigh every day. It can be discouraging. Wednesday is my weigh-in day, and that's when I record it on my goals on my Carb Manager. And that is the only time I will record it, whatever it is, when I get up, first thing every Wednesday. Now, have I stepped on the scales? Yes, I have. Sometimes it's up a little, sometimes it's down, surprisingly down. But as long as the process is going down, your weight is going down, don't expect big changes. The first week was my biggest change, and I think it was just water weight. The first week I lost 10 pounds, and then the rest has just been slowly coming off. But I'm not an exercise person. I don't get out and exercise. I don't get out. I maybe go walk to the mailbox with my husband every day, clean around my house, and that's about it. I'm not a big exercise person. I wish I could do better. Some things in the kitchen that I use. Oh, here's one. Go over here. Over on our refrigerator, we keep a little index card. And on that index card, I write down 5 to 7 meals on the card. And I know what we have and what we want to have. So this has a bacon cheeseburger soup that I want to try on ketos, chicken fritters, salmon and shrimp. And when I say salmon, we get those little individual packets that you can get frozen. So we just take out what we need and we cook them in the oven, and we add some lemon pepper and maybe some lemon juice. And then steak and shrimp. My husband will pick out a steak. I'll eat the small portion of steak, the small portion on one side. He eats the rest. And then we also fix some shrimp, and I will show you guys how I do my shrimp. I get the red Argentina raw, and I'll show you how I cook it. And we eat that on the side, and we just cook a half a container of the shrimp for one day, and then we'll fix it with something else like some codfish the next night. I don't cook it up all at one time. I cook half, and then I'll cook the other half. Cornish hens, I just shared that recipe with you guys, and we did some fried cheese sticks on the side. I just shared that recipe. I'll put that in the description box. So I make a list of what we're going to have, and we just pick something off. We lay it out right after we eat, and we have it ready to go and thawed out for the next night. This makes it so much easier because if you're not prepared, it's easy to break it. It's easy to say, I'm just going to go out through a drive-through and get me a burger. But let me tell you what happens when you break your keto. When you're in ketogenic and you break it and you put that many carbs in your body, it's going to take about 3 days for your body to go back into ketosis. And then once it's back in, and then you decide, I want to have a cheat day. There's no cheating on this, guys. If you're going to do a cheat day, you should just give it up, because that is not going to work. Because if you have a cheat day every Saturday, 3 days after that, so Wednesday, you're back in ketosis, then you're only in ketosis in your body for 2 days, 2 days a week. You're not going to be successful that way. There is no cheat days. I will say this. If you lose 40 or 50 pounds and you want to incorporate one day of having your favorite meal, such as we love beans and cornbread in the wintertime, and a bowl of chili. If we lose 40 or 50 pounds, then we'll talk about a cheat day and have that meal. Probably we're not going to feel good after we do it, putting all those carbs, because what I have learned is about ketogenic is that when you feed your body all those carbs, let's say you have 200 or 300 or 400 carbs a day, and they add up, your body is used to burning those carbs before it gets to the fat. So if you're feeding your body 10, I do 10 on the average, 10 carbs a day, then whatever you do, you're going to burn into those 10 carbs, and then your body is going to do what? It's going to start burning the fat. And let me tell you, it does work. So far, I'm coming up on 8 weeks, and I have lost I'm close, so close to 15 pounds. And you say, well, that's not a whole lot for 2 months. It is, and let me tell you, you don't want to lose weight so fast. It does things to your body, and especially make your hair fall out. When I had that surgery, that's gastric bypass sleeve surgery, so much of my hair fell out, and I thought it was never going to stop. And that lasted for about a year. And if someone was to ask me, would I do that again? I don't think I would, because one of the stipulations they want you to do is to lose 15 pounds in your first 2 months. And let me tell you, people, if you can already lose 15 pounds, now I'm not saying this is for everybody. There is some people who benefit from this and have lifelong success from it. I'm not speaking against it. I'm just saying that if I had to do it over again, and I already lost 15 pounds on my own, I basically proved to myself that I could have lost the weight if I just tried. Now, someone did ask me in a comment after having the sleeve surgery, did I go back to eating a lot of food? No. I can usually eat like one burger. When we were eating burgers on a bun, I could eat one burger and no fries with it. I could never have a milkshake and food. It just filled me up too much. And I still had just certain amount of portions, and I still do. But I know when to quit when I'm full. And so you just have to know when you're full and you've had enough that you're not going to come back and snack later. But I will tell you again that those sweet cravings will eventually go away. Now, at first, they may not. Make sure you read the ingredients, guys, because if you do have food allergies, you need to know what's in your food. And then another thing that I used to use when I first got started in keto was a scale. I got this one from Amazon, and you can do it in pounds or kilograms or whatever you like to use. But at first, I did weigh it out. Now I can look at a piece of steak, and I can tell you whether I'm having 3, 4, or 5 ounces of steak just by looking at it. And then, of course, all your little measuring spoons, you definitely at first want to start measuring them out, because eventually you'll be able to, just know how much, how much ingredients by just shaking it out. But keep those tools together. And let me see, cooking a variety and reading the labels. Let's talk about keto flu for a minute, guys. Keto flu makes you have these flu-like symptoms, and I'll tell you why you feel so crummy. Now, it didn't hit me. Most everybody always says it hits them within a week or two. It didn't hit me till the end of first month, and I had 3 days that I just felt like I did not have the energy to walk across the floor. I did not have the energy to do anything. And I knew what it was is that your body goes through this change, through this shock. And what it's been used to using all those carbs, it's now not getting those carbs. It's now getting low carb, no carbs, and then having to work and burn off that fat. Another thing I want to cover with you guys coming up is the holidays. And I want to share with you what you can do for the holidays without breaking your ketogenic diet. And I just have a few ideas that will help you so that if you have family gatherings. But one thing that I want to say is that when you have these gatherings, try not to make it around food or about food. I know when you go out to a birthday dinner, where are you going? To a restaurant. If you're invited, do the best that you can. And you can always get a salad and a plate and just eat the meat in the salad or the veggies or something like that when you go out. It doesn't mean you have to break your keto diet. So I wanted to share with you something that you could do, and I'm going to have a video about that just later on in just a few weeks. So I think I've covered everything that I want to cover about some of the things that I use and I do for my keto. Now, like I said, don't expect miracles, don't expect big changes, just small changes. I look at it like this. On my average, I have lost 2 pounds a week. If I lose 1 pound a week for the first year, I would be down 52 pounds. That is great, guys. 52 pounds in a year. And trying to keep it off by continuing to find foods that we love. And this is not just about weight, it's about health for us. So we're feeling better. I have more energy than I did before. You can ask my husband. So I'm going to close out with that, guys, and I just want to thank you for being here. I hope that I have been of some help. Again, always consult your doctor before changing your diet, exercise, or anything like that, and make sure that you read your labels and know that you don't have any food allergies. So I'm just sharing with you my process, what I've learned, and what I'm doing. And one other thing before I go that I wanted to share with you is what I have over here on my stove, and I'm going to show a picture of that. I have the bacon grease container, and I got a new cast iron skillet, and I just want to be able to get away from the Teflon ware, cooking in that, and I think that's going to be a healthy move for us too. So I think I've covered everything, guys. You all have a blessed week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.